Hey guys, it's Jan, Not a Real Farm. Happy Saturday morning, guys. So we are out today and we're going to be trimming back a lot of our greenhouse stuff today. You can see a lot of my things have started to go to seed, like my marigolds and things like that. So a lot of this now has to be cut back, seeds saved, and really just sort of put away for the winter. And that is coming fast here. We kind of lucked out. We have a huge crop this year of huckleberries. So what I'm doing is I'm waiting for them to not be so shiny. So this one's a little bit dull. And how huge that crop is. All the way through here. We've got another plant there. And then we've got another plant over here. And then a third plant over there. They almost grew like trees. And some of my huckleberries, the bushes are actually almost 5 feet tall over there. So that is going to be great in terms of doing huckleberry jam. Let's go through here today. We never actually walked through here. I've got another set of green onions coming up. So we've been using that for food. My sunflowers are still coming out. I've got miniature sunflowers. And then I also sort of lucked out again and got some more roses, which is kind of nice. Look at all these huckleberries. So the huckleberries are still flowering. We've got lots of green berries. Of course, don't eat those, they're poisonous. But then we've also got a lot of the blackberries too. And this huckleberry, these huckleberry bushes are loaded. I really like these garden huckleberries because you can get a garden's worth, pretty much a whole summer's worth, if you want to look at it that way, of berries for jams and pies for the winter, just by simply planting only 3 bushes. So that's pretty amazing. I've got a rose that's actually grown from all the way over where the roses are. Isn't that crazy? Right into here. Look where this guy is. So it's time to kind of trim back our roses, but we've also got new rose buds as well. So it was a very successful year inside the greenhouse. Take a look at the sunflowers way up there now that we can see them from the other side. The one closest almost to the middle where the fan is, it might have about 8 feet left before it reaches the ceiling. So hopefully we'll get a lot of seeds out of those and we can replant them. Next year they're going outside because I really think they'd make a great hedge. And then when we come through, our fig is doing awesome. So our fig, if I can get around here, is actually put on so much more figs this year. Check it out. More figs and more figs. We've got more up here. And the tree's actually just loaded with them this year on the other side too. So last year I ended up getting figs somewhere in November, which was perfect because I could put them away for Christmas time. So we're going to get to the horseradish. We're going to do that. Now we've got our peppers that are ripening. We've got our nice, beautiful orange peppers. We've cut back the sunflower, our Tiki Torch sunflower. I still have to get all the way up here to take this down and then save the rest of the seeds that are there. But it's still blooming. Take a look. Isn't that awesome? And we've been going through and eating a lot of tomatoes this week. Our fish peppers also are doing amazing. So they've pretty much gone from that, you know, that white, green sort of color to now they're at their hottest when they're red. Remember how they used to sort of look like that? Check that out. And then of course we have our black paste tomatoes. So these are ready to go. So I picked these off, I can show you. Take a look at that. So we got that nice black shoulders on top. And if we just pop off just this, there, you'll be able to see that. Isn't that awesome? They're ready to go. I'm gonna use these today. The change in weather is also contributing to the splitting because it's getting chilly at night. but nice black shoulders and beautiful red color on these. I love these ones. These turned out to be my favorite paste tomatoes. Super reliable, easy to grow. And they make great sauce. We have got more cucumbers coming on through. Look at that. So basically what I'm doing is, normally I'll do a relish, but this year I had so many cucumbers. What I'm doing is I'm taking a mandolin, slicing the cucumber, basically adding spice to them, or however we want to basically put flavoring on the cucumber, and then lining the trays of my freeze dryer and making cucumber chips for the winter. It's the only way that I can kind of keep on top of all the produce that I grow, is to try and put a lot of it through the freeze dryer to keep it. All right, look at all the tomatoes. It's sauce making time. And then here's my purple rain. So you can see it starts out that green, then you get that nice purple shoulder happening, almost a division in these ones, which is kind of cool. And then depending on the cold, you'll get something that looks like this. So compared to the last ones that I showed you guys, can you tell the difference now in the greenhouse? You'll get more of that purple color when the nighttime temperature cools off. So these are kind of cool cherry tomatoes. So we'll be saving the seeds from these and sharing them as well. All right, let's go back the other way. Change it up a bit today, show you guys what's going on in here. And then of course we have our poblano peppers. Let's get down here, I'll show you. Our poblanos have now starting to go from green to this cool red. So this is when they're gonna be their hottest. Some of the biggest poblanos I think I've ever grown. I tried it when it was green and it was super hot. So I can only imagine what it's gonna be like when it's red. And then we've got our healthy peppers, which are still putting on, our orange bell peppers, tomatoes. Our peppers are slowing down now inside. These are our elephant ear peppers, but they're taking their time because it's actually chilly in here this morning. Healthy peppers. So we can actually take this guy off. He's ready to go. I usually use these as a fry pepper. They're just a medium-sized pepper, but they are very tasty. We have our cauliflower in the back, trying to put on a little bit of blush of purple. It's almost too pretty to pick. Let's get the peppers out from around it. Those cracks in the pepper indicate the temperature difference at night. Do you see that? I don't think it's going to be long before there's snow on the ground here. Take this guy. Now, if you can see here, we have our cucumbers are going to seed. So I generally just leave them and let them get as big as possible and then let them change color before I save the seed so that we can replant them for next year. But then we have cases like this guy where he's super green, he's ready to go. And then we have little guys. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to let these all go to seed. This one in the back here is definitely gone to seed. Check that out. And I'll have to clip out the cattle panel to bring them down because they're just so big. And then we have, of course, cucumbers growing all the way up my shade cloth, which still poses a problem, but I'm not going to worry about it today. Then we've got our witch finger cayennes, which are ready to go now. These cayennes actually get a pretty good size. So some of these we're going to dry and save seed. The other ones we're going to use for other things. There we go. You can see why they call them witch fingers or witch sticks. It's pretty neat. Our purple Chinese peppers have gone from purple now to red in some cases. So this is when they're at their hottest, so we can pick these or we can leave them as decoration. I still think these would make great additions to a basket on a deck or on a porch. Now down amongst the other plants here, this is my mulberry tree. Let me just back out here. So the mulberry tree actually did fantastic in a pot inside the greenhouse. So next year what we can do is we can actually plant him outside. We've got our curry. So our curry bush and our celosia, or celosia, however you want to pronounce it, did really well together. So this is my pink celosia. And now what's happening is I'm starting to get seeds for them. So these are actually really pretty. I think I'm going to grow some more of these next year. And then they seemed to really be okay with planted with the curry bush. So the curry bush smells just like curry that you get out of the store. And so you can dry the leaves and you can add these very much like bay leaves to your cooking. So we've got a couple of bay leaf plants here that will also be brought inside for the winter, as well as the aloe, which has a few little weeds in it, but it's actually grown pretty big. And then we have our ginger bush, so you can see how big these leaves got. You take this off and throw it in tea. It tastes just like the root. And I'm actually super happy that we ended up trying this because I think this is a really good alternative if you cannot grow ginger root. And then in the beds here, I actually planted, let me just move my cherry tree out of the way, a couple of gooseberry plants. So these are a red gooseberry, and I decided to let them grow in here around my garlic and my weeds. But so far, it actually seems to be doing pretty well. It's pretty happy inside the greenhouse. I gotta watch out for the thorns here. But it was only very tiny when I planted it, and now it's just taken off. So I think we're gonna leave the gooseberry bushes in here. And then of course, above that, we have our blackberries. And just for reference, this blackberry cane goes all the way across up the top of my trellis and then over and down into the bed. So there's no doubt that this is at least 10 feet tall. It's just that what it's done is it's just draped itself over my trellis and then managed to drape down just above the garden boxes. So once the fruits are done this year, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it back. Otherwise, we're going to have a trellis of grapes and blackberries, which will probably be interesting, but I don't know if it'll hold it up. This is all heal, and the name says it all, really. You can take a look and see what kind of health benefits you can get from all heal. It's really good for skin abrasions as well. So for those of you who received the walking onions from me, so the walking onions, as you can tell, some of these are dead now because they've dropped their seed. But look what's happening. All the seed that's dropped in here is now resprouting. So now I've got a whole other new set of green onions that I can use that are soft, just like you'd get from the store. There's no woodiness to these. And we can cut them and use them in our food. So it just keeps regenerating and regenerating until the cold weather basically doesn't allow them to anymore. So you have a fresh supply of green onions all summer right into fall, which is awesome. All right, so we're going out to the outside garden. Now we've got fresh Swiss chard coming up for fall planting that we'll be able to use. We're gonna start picking all of our beans over here because they've gone to seed. Our asparagus has gone to seed, so we can actually cut that down now and make that bin a little bit nicer. And then, once we remove the red corn out of the way, because we're going to use a lot of this dried stalk just for Halloween and Thanksgiving decorations, is we've got our carrots. So these are a Burlacummer carrot that we have planted in the ground, and I haven't had an opportunity to pull many of these up yet to see what they look like. For me with carrots, it's always a hit or miss. Well, this one's interesting. Let's see what another one looks like. All right, we're getting triples. This is interesting. Let's pull another one and see what it looks like. Let's see what we got in here. I'm just getting doubles and triples. My goodness. Well, that's okay. We can still use these carrots. I'm okay with that. All right, let's keep on walking. We're still getting plenty of raspberries. Lots and lots of raspberries still. Look at this. Ripe and ready. I didn't even really have to pull on that one. And then we have our beautiful Sartre Rolla West tomatoes. Look at those beauties. And they're all down here. Now, here, I'm digging out the grass in this bed. We've got our bean seeds that are drying. And this is our pepper bed. And remember, we took a look at these a couple of days ago, but that's okay. Heck, look, got more coming in. And then look at that. Those are awesome. The size of these peppers this year outside. These peppers were more successful outside than they were in the greenhouse, if you can believe that. Big, beautiful, healthy leaves. I'm so impressed by these peppers. And then we have potatoes that we're still digging out. We've got a rhubarb colored Swiss chard, which is amazing sauteed. And I wanted to show you is now that the cantaloupe vine has died down, you can see how big our cantaloupes are now. So you can take a look here. The webbing on the cantaloupe is now turning brown, and that's what I'm looking for. So the next stage is really just seeing this die down, the stem to brown, and then we'll be able to pick this. Isn't that awesome? So I think what we'll do is we'll leave it here today, guys. We've got a lot of work that we're doing here at Not a Real Farm, getting ready for winter pretty much. And I'm thinking that we're gonna be probably having snow early this year and collecting our vegetables and making sure that we've got everything put away for the winter. See you soon.